live from New York. It's a show that's thinking probably should have stuck with the Thunder. Just saying.
I got my reasons.
Now he's got the T.J. McConnell Cup. He switched the Haliburton Cup for the T.J. McConnell Cup.
I didn't do it I couldn't find the Haliburton. I guess that's apropos. I couldn't find Haliburton.
Oh,
he disappeared. The cup and him last night, but yeah.
We're starting with the Thunder have a leg up. Haliburton has a leg down. Hurt his calf early in the game, was ineffective throughout. Ends the night with 4 points, but didn't make a field goal. Only took 6 shots. Your reaction to Haliburton's night and the latest news.
Yeah, just a few minutes ago, Shams said he has a strained right calf. He's going to have an MRI. And that, of course, colors this a bit.
Yeah.
And I went to bed asking myself, was that the worst game I've ever seen from a superstar in the finals? And I woke up this morning and I was like, you know what? I can't remember one worse. Listen, the famously LeBron's game that's held around his neck forever, the Game 5 against the Mavs 2011. He had 8 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists.
I think his stature.
His stature, correct. And so, right.
And so, Larry Bird's first finals
had some rough ones.
8-point games.
Right. And so, if we're grading on the curve of your greatness compared to the game, but if we are grading on, are you the best player on your team? Are you a star in this league? Did you play a lot and contribute close to nothing? It's on the shortest of short lists. Like, just guys. So Ray Allen in 2010 with the Celtics had an 0 for 13, but he's third best player on the team.
Yeah, and he was shooting.
And he was shooting. Reggie, and I'm not picking on Reggie, I promise, but it was the best player on his team. His first finals game ever, he was 1 for 16.
But being cold is
different. That I feel similarly. Oddly, Wilt in 69, in Russell's finals ever, had 3 single-digit games and 2 games where he took 6 or fewer shots. He had 4, 8, and 8. What offsets that is, A, he was up against Bill Russell, and B, he had 19, 31, and 18 rebounds in those games. So he was at least...
He used to routinely put
31 rebounds.
31 rebound game was pretty good.
He
was probably proven I can do more than
a guy who, in NBA history, and I know Haliburton wasn't an all-star this year, but he's a perennial all-star, he's the best player on the team.
He's a star.
The last all-star to play 30 minutes in a finals game, all-star that year, and have 0 made baskets was one of Wild's favorites, Slater Martin, that you have to go back literally more than 70 years. When you look up active players to play 30 minutes in a finals game and make 1 or fewer shots, it's a couple Kevin Love games, and then it's Draymond's on there a bit, and Tristan Thompson.
0-point game.
You know what I mean? Guys who are not primary scorers.
Yeah.
And I know that Haliburton is not a number 1 scorer. I get that. But it's unprecedented to have, in this game, with these stakes, and that, it's not like the ball was never in his hands. To have that game, it's as bad of a finals performance by a team's best player as you're going to see. I try not to be...
That's more caustic than I was expecting.
I knew that. So let me say this, and then I'll give it to you, Brew. I know people use hot take as pejorative or whatever. I don't mind it. But typically, my hottest takes are either kind of smart-assy or hyperbolic positive. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a long record of being like, this guy sucks.
Caleb's going to Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
sure.
Then there's that.
No, but that's hyperbolic positive. That's what I'm saying. I don't do a bunch of this is the worst I've ever seen. And I don't want to be the face of anti-Tyrese Haliburton. But it is what it is.
I didn't go into all the history. I will say this, though, because those LeBron performances against Dallas, LeBron looked scared. That's the difference. Haliburton didn't look scared.
Sure.
Like, he just wasn't engaged. And obviously LeBron's a much higher caliber player overall, so you weigh that in. But I'm going to give him a little grace for the injury, although, like you said, he played 34 minutes. And here's why I'm only giving a little grace because of it. Because he really looked like he looked outside of the end of game 1 And game 3, when he had the 20-plus points, and, this is kind of how he's looked. This was by far the worst game. But the passivity and not being engaged and not being aggressive, this is how he's played kind of throughout the series. So on the one hand, I say, okay, the injury obviously affected him to some degree. But on the other hand, this is kind of how he's carried himself throughout this series for the most part. And I am probably the biggest Tyrese Haliburton fan on this show.
Yeah.
And I love his pass-first mentality. I love that he doesn't over-dribble, that he moves the ball and all of that he sets the tempo and all that. But in this series, he has been exposed. And what he's been exposed as is, and maybe the injury's a factor, but I've favorably compared him to all these first point guards I favorably compared him to a lot of the shoot first point guards. Said I really like that. We don't see that much today. The difference though is this: all of these shoot first point guards, Jalen Brunson, Damian Lillard, go on down the line. When they need to get a shot off, they can do it. Like they can shake you up, get their shot. He, at least in this series, is not able to do that. Now, I know against Cleveland, against the Knicks on those game winners, even the game winner here, he was able to create space. He can dance a little bit, step back with the 3 or long 2 and hit it. But he's not like all these other point guards today who, whenever they want, they can get a shot. In this series, at least, it looks like he can't.
It's not just
he can't just
get a shot, not even necessarily a bucket. Get a shot.
Yeah. That's what it's looking like now. And so, like I said, that it fits their system terrifically because that's what Carlisle wants. Let's all move the ball. Nobody's going to handle it too much. But when you need a basket and your best scorer is Pascal Siakam, who is very good but not a superstar, he has not been able to do that. So there's an exposure there to some degree.
So you don't chalk that up? I chalk the majority of it up to the injury.
But he was moving.
Well, do you get what I'm saying in that he looked like most of this series, he has been disengaged.
Even during the game, I'm like, man, he does seem to be moving okay, but maybe there's things that he's not doing, so we can't see, he's not being exposed because, you know what, I have no lateral movement, or I can't stop and really.
The injury is clearly a factor, I will say.
The other thing is this, and Josh, tell me if I'm doing this off the top of my head, so tell me if I'm wrong. I think he has a single-digit scoring game in every playoff series of his career. And
he's had several during the season.
Right. And so I know he had a 4-point game earlier in the playoffs. I'm pretty sure in the Knicks series he had an 8-point game. He does have these games where he simply does not score. I just didn't expect it in game 5 of the finals especially when you add the context of his backup got him back in it. They're getting blown out. McConnell gives them this burst of energy. Right. It is a 2-point game in the fourth quarter. They can steal it right back. And you can't hold him to the standard of the guys who average 30 a game. Because that's not his game. And we don't hold them. Yeah. When Shea had his 0 assist game, not that he's not a good passer. Nobody was like, why weren't you more like Haliburton? Right. But the standard of my best player can't have 0 made baskets is a fair standard.
Here's what he has to learn. And I'm sure his teammates love him for this. I think he enters every game. I don't think he's thinking, I got to get a certain number of points or I'm going to look for my shot. I think he's thinking, I'm going to run the offense, I'm going to set the tempo, I'm going to get the ball to the scores and all that. And when it's there, he takes what's there for him, and sometimes it might be 30-something, sometimes it might be 18. What he's got to learn as he matures is there's times when you have to go score. He can shoot.
Yeah.
The 3, he has the floater. He can get all the way to the cup. He can get a mirror. Like, he has the offensive scoring package. It's just his mentality, which is great, but sometimes you do need to be selfish for the sake of your team. Like, I can score. Let me go get us a bucket.
And we haven't, at least I haven't gone through every single play again, but do you think part of that is Carlisle not running stuff, not just an ISO, but just like, all right, let's get Haliburton a bucket here. Let Nembhard bring it up. Haliburton, that we're going to run this for Haliburton. Like simple stuff.
I don't think they do any of that. They'll get it to Pascal Siakam and let him go, maneuver. But I think their guys pretty much get their shots in the flow of their system.
All right. Meanwhile, Jalen Williams dropped 40 for the Thunder. SGA chipped in 31. Youngest players ever to score 40 or more in the finals. Magic was 20. Rick Barry did it 3 times. He's 23. Russ was 23. Jerry West 23. Jalen is 24. What was your number one takeaway from Jalen's game? Okay, with now Bruce dusting off his shoulder again.
Why?
What is this?
You
go to this a lot?
On the one hand, it bothers me. But on the other hand, it's a compliment. Because it's happening all the time now. Brock Purdy, Drew Brees, Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey. Didn't I say months ago he is developing like Scottie Pippen? Now I turn on the TV and my man, love him, Kendrick Perkins. He's Scottie Pippen. Brian Windhorst, we work together at the Akron Beacon Journal. He's Scottie Pippen. This is how and you remember before the playoffs.
I don't remember that.
I know Nick remembers. And
He's 6'4".
I was not saying, and this is the way I made the comparison.
Okay.
He is playing next to a great superstar, Jordan SGA. And he came into the league unheralded. Nobody really knew who he was. Had talent, but his game needed a lot of work. And just like Pippen, Jalen Williams is growing. You see it every year. He's growing into a superstar or star in his own right, and maybe he could become a superstar.
Player.
That's the comparison. The games are different.
Yes.
They're both great defenders. I think Pippen's a better defender, but both are great defenders. But Pippen was a better playmaker, even though Jalen can make plays. But Jalen is a better scorer.
Yes.
Pippen could not do this. All right, the way he's scoring, even when Jordan wasn't there, Pippen averaged like 23, I think.
Pippen never
21.
scored 40 in a playoff game, ever. And he never scored more than 32 with Jordan playing.
Right,
He scored
and
30, he scored
5,
37 once, actually, with the Rockets. And so he never scored.
He wasn't, that was not, I mean, he could score fairly well, but he wasn't a big scorer.
You called that.
So I'm just saying, like, their games are different, but in that role, and what it was his coming out party.
Yes.
He made the All-Star team for the first time this year. He's All-NBA first time. But certainly the All-Star nod, I'm interested in how you feel. I felt it was almost like he deserved it for sure. But it was kind of like,
they
won, right?
Exactly
they won so many games. They're running through the league. We got to pick the second guy, and he's the second best player.
Yep.
And so now though, for real hardcore basketball people have known about him and how he's developing, but none of us knew he was this consistent because we went in wondering, is he going to be the second guy?
Correct.
Right. But now this is his coming out party to the casual fans. And if he continues to play this way, or even if he just has a pretty good game in 6 and they win it, like there's a path now, Nick, for him he is a star now. Like he's performing like a star. There's a path though for him to move into club superstar at some point, because right now I'm not saying he is, he's not there yet, but he's building on that.
Listen, it also, not that he wasn't going to get a ton of money either way, but that was a $250 million game for him.
Yes.
Because now he's just the max. It's just the max, please. Rookie max. Me and Chet are both eligible. You guys might have a little negotiation with Chet. Not with me. I will take the full that I'm eligible for. Thank you. I think it's 5 for around $250 these days. And so now I think he was gonna. It's not like he wasn't gonna get a ton of money before, but if there was any negotiation, that's gone. Wild, if I start the morning going through Basketball Reference, I'm going to end the morning going through Basketball Reference.
Oh, what's this one?
Well, it's just an all-time Robin game.
Oh,
there have only been 30 human beings, not alive, just 30 human beings ever, some have passed sadly, who've scored 40 in a finals game.
Run through them.
I would love to. Jerry West actually has the most. Jerry West has 10. Bron's got 8, Jordan's got 6, Shaq's got 5, and then there's only, a handful with more than one. To do it as the second option, Kyrie did it twice. Russ did it on that graphic in a game. Brew reminded us that Magic Johnson was apoplectic at how poorly he thought Russ played as a point guard in a game they lost. Chris Middleton did it recently in the game I referenced the other day, that game 4, down 2-1 when Giannis had the block. That's your full list of second options to score 40 in a finals game. You'd be like, what about Kobe? Kobe scored 40 in a finals game once. It was in 2009 when he was the main guy. D. Wade never did it with LeBron. Akeem, Moses never did it ever in their careers. Kevin Durant's done it once, scoring 40 in a finals game and doing it in a game 5. You know what I mean? Where all of a sudden you have the big lead because of you, but then it's down to 2, and then you carry him home. And it's not like Shea wasn't good. Shea was excellent again. But it also is, it does make you look at this team moving forward through a slightly more, not that there wasn't a lot of reason for optimism before, but even more optimistic lens. Because going into these playoffs, I called him, I don't need to brush my shoulders about it. I didn't call him Scottie Pippen. I called him the biggest X factor in the postseason. Because the biggest reason, negative reason they lost to the Mavs was last year, he wasn't good. He was 17 a game. He was inefficient, wasn't good. And then midway through round 2 this year, when it looked like they might lose to the Nuggets, he was having the exact same series. Inefficient, like around 17 a game. It's like, oh, man, that's tough. Like, is he just not going to be a playoff guy? And then game 7 of that series, he was excellent. They faced no real resistance in the conference finals. And now in the NBA finals, he's 26 a game. It's efficient shooting. He's shooting well from 3. And so now you're just like, oh, he's 24 years old. He is a very good, not Scottie Pippen level, and I know you weren't saying it, defender, but a very good defender. He's a 3-level scorer, and he is a perfect, durable wingman for Shea.
So he's 24, as Nick said. Yeah. It's his 3rd season. Like, think about that. This is his 3rd season, and he's dropping 40 in the finals. SGA obviously is the man. They could become a team, to speak to your point about optimism, where you got 2 legit superstars. Like, they're building something.
Hold on, Dust, real quick before we move on, I just want to show Brew this graphic on how balanced Jalen's scoring was. Did a little bit of everything. It's in an era where there's scores like, oh, I love the corner 3, or I love, getting to the rack. 16 layups or dunks, 9 free throws, 9 threes, and 6 mid-range jumpers. Just tough to defend. He's giving it to you every single way.
His finishes are great.
He was great.
Both hands.
Game 6 Thursday. Now this is going to be a little bit emotional. Pacers underdogs at home. Brew, this is not a proprietary stat, but finals teams up 3-2 win the series 82% of the time. Vegas odds don't look pretty either. OKC minus 1,600. So losing 4-2, 61% of the time that happens. Losing 4-3, 20% of the time. Winning 18% of the time. So there is a chance.
Yes.
Do you regret changing your pick from the Thunder to Indiana, which you did yesterday?
Does this answer your question? Does this answer your question?
Not necessarily.
Maybe this will. Naptown! That's right, baby. Or maybe this will.
Got new ones.
I'm all about Naptown, and here's why. And you guys have a hint of this, but I'm going to make it plain.
Okay, good.
I did not pick the Pacers yesterday. Was it yesterday that I did it? Because I was convinced they were going to win this thing. I picked them for my own sanity. Watching these games was heart-wrenching because you know this, we always want to be right on our prediction. But then my heart was with Indiana, so it was just, I was being torn. It was a constant tug of war. Last night, even though they lost, I was rooting hard for the Pacers, and it felt good. All right, so I am all with the Pacers. Their backs are against the wall. It's going to be tough, But I'm ride or die right now.
Okay.
I'm ride or die.
Yesterday, that's
just
backwards.
yellow.
There you go. That's upside down.
Okay,
We'll
we
get
got
there
it. Much
eventually.
like the Pacers series.
Close.
Drew,
Yes.
yesterday we did get a glimpse of King Chris Broussard. If people don't know, King is King Council, King
The King Movement.
King Movement, Brew's Christian organization. I'm obviously not as educated on the Bible as you. There's got to be a story in the Bible of someone who, like, you know, I guess the cliche would be, if you love it, set it free, or, you know, you unburden someone from yourself because of how much you love them. That's why I'm so disappointed in you. Because if anyone should be acutely aware of the supernatural powers of the curse of Broussard, it should be Chris Broussard. A man who has, I mean, I think maybe single-handedly rerouted Lamar Jackson's career. He killed the Chiefs were 17-1 en route to a three-peat until the day before the Super Bowl. Brew was like, you know who's going to win? The Chiefs, and dropped the flag. The Cavs were a 64-win team, smooth sailing until Brew got aboard with them.
Injuries.
And the Pacers were in the midst of an unbelievable run until Brew decided now all of a sudden Tyrese Haliburton's getting MRIs
It's not an
and
official
scoring
pick,
0
though.
points. What do you mean?
Who did I
It's
pick?
more of an emotional
Who
pick.
did I pick in the Pacers against the Knicks?
You did pick the Pacers.
That's who I picked. Who's still playing?
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.